you so much. That's so kind.
So I'll fix it. So.
Good morning, Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning.
Thank you for turning off your cell phones, etc., so we can maintain the sanctity of our time together. And for those of you joining us online, hello, welcome. You can click on closed caption if you need assistance. I am Tamara Williams. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm very grateful for everyone joining us today. Together, we are transforming our world with the power of love and action. I want to take a minute to honor those of you who are helping out today. Our musical inspiration is, drum roll please, Susan Clark, who is titled very appropriately is Director of Musical Inspiration.
Looked my identification in our office. I'll look at it. Thank you, Tamara.
And our tech team was very devoted, Cheryl Ray and Belinda, who would help us out. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Of course, we have Greg, Doug Bo, and an assistant helping out today. Doug is very loyal and dedicated to his job of ushering, and we thank him for that. And we also have our food angels providing yummy snacks during our social hour. And we have our Spirit-Bound bookstore staff with Gilbert at the helm, who's always so creative, makes it fun to go in the bookstore because you never know what's new and what's different. He definitely kicks it up a notch. Thank you. We also have Carmela, who is holding high watch today. And we have Lisa Kerr, who's leading our vision and mission, and will share the reading for the day. And we have practitioner Yvette Trujillo, who will give us host our celebration and our inspirational message for the day. Quite a lineup. Here are a few brief announcements. Next Saturday morning, August 17th, from 9 till noon, here at the center, practitioner Marilyn O'Leary will lead a guided meditation. It's an opportunity to center yourself, visualize a world of harmony, and raise our collective vibration as a force for love and peace. Marilyn will guide the meditation, which will include a visualization, guided meditation, and silent reflection. So do yourself a favor and stop on by. And that same day, Saturday afternoon, from 2 to 4, Brian Kurtz is offering an experiential workshop for couples, teaching them to touch your own soul and the souls of those around you. It's $100, and you can register on our website through Breeze. I took the workshop for singles earlier this year and felt it was very powerful. I learned a lot from it and practiced it. So I highly recommend taking that class if you can. Please check out the ongoing events that are in the newsletter, and they were on the slideshow for what's going on, including the drumming circle, which is this Wednesday. The Spirit-Bound Bookstore and Gift Shop Artist of the Month is Linda Fellion. Right there, Linda's waving for those of you online. Linda is a distributor and user of tachyon products for healing and for harmony. As you probably know, Solid Grounds is a wonderful venue every Friday night with some wonderful musicians. Boy, were we treated last Friday, just a couple nights ago. It was an awesome triple performance. And it was very moving to see so many people, new people that are coming because they're followers of the musicians, and also people that just love coming here and are so grateful to us to continue hosting it in a new venue. The only problem is we need some more helpers. Didn't have very many helpers. Did we, Sue?
I think we had 3.
One, two, Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, two, Lou. We need more of you. Okay? And it's fun. It's fun.
And, you know, just to make a point about that, and we do need to get a sign-up sheet again back in the social hall. I don't even think there's a sign-up sheet, but you don't have to stay the whole time. You could come early and help set up, and then you could leave. You can bake goods for us and drop them off during the week. You can just come to help tear down. So the point being, if we spread it out a little bit, nobody will have to do too much of any one thing. So that's our public service announcement for this.
Yeah. Although I do want to thank those of you who have brought baked goods.
Yes.
Oh my
Like
gosh, Nancy.
Nancy.
Who did, like, oh my gosh, that was just, it was a triple chocolate zucchini brownie. I was cutting them up, and I just need to test them. And I highly recommend it to everybody who I saw, and they said, wow, thank you for that recommendation. So we've got the baked goods down pat. I mean, we could always use more, but the real thing is feet on the street or whatever, coming to help out. It's fun. So now it's time to turn it over to Lisa, who's going to give our evocation.
And on this beautiful Sunday morning, where we live in the wonderful state of New Mexico and are experiencing the sun, I let that sun fill our hearts as we fill our hearts and evoke that presence of God into this space. That God that is with us, working through us, as us. That God that is peace and love and happiness, serenity, compassion. That God that surrounds our body temple and provides security and peace for us. I know that there is no separation between me and that God or you and that God. Each of us is that essence of God, for the innermost God and the outermost God are one and the same. I give thanks for everybody being here today and everybody online that is listening, knowing that they hear the exact words that they need to hear to have this week unfold perfectly. I give thanks for everybody helping with this service, knowing that that helps all of us. It helps them, it helps us. Just to experience God in its fullest. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Lisa. If you please stand, and we're going to do a little singing to get us awake. I'm just kind of talking to myself, actually. But this is a pretty laid back chant, so it might have the opposite effect on you. So I'll just see what happens here. I'll play a little bit for you, intro. Well, that would be our closing song.
Oh, yeah, it would, huh? Hold on.
I can do that one first. Yes, fine.
Sorry.
So yeah, this is kind of one of those. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. Something different. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. No matter how fast, how slow, I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. Can you sing just a little louder? I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will rock myself. And I will rock myself like a newborn baby child. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. One more time. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child.
Please remain standing while we do our vision and mission statement. I tried to get up here in time. Okay, so our vision.
Hold on.
Add a second. Transforming our world with the power of love and action. And our mission?
Loving all creation
Through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Yvette Trujillo. I'm a practitioner here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm here to talk to you about kind of the core beliefs. So that if you're new here or if you haven't been here in a long time, we just want to anchor ourselves. It's not to bore you with a repetition of the same thing. It's to anchor ourselves in what we believe. So number one, what we believe is that there is only one power in the universe that is known by many names. So we don't claim to have some exclusive corner on the market of the divine, right? There are many ways that people look to that higher power, to the presence of spirit, of Allah, of whatever it is that you call it. We are one way of expressing that, and we are all one power together, no matter what we call it. We believe that that thought is creative, so we take care of our mind and keep going back to the spiritual truth that there is only one power. We don't blame ourselves or beat ourselves up for thoughts that don't serve us. We simply replace them with thoughts that affirm our lives. So, thought is creative. God is creative. You create your life. Did you know that you're the architect of your life? That's exactly what we're talking about there. And number 3, we believe that everything in our life is either an expression of love or a call for love. Nothing else. And oftentimes I look around my world and I see a lot of calls for love. And then I look in the mirror and I see a call for love. It happens to all of us. But the truth is that it is at its heart all love, no matter how it's expressing itself, how it's showing up. And then finally, we believe that each one of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are. And that might feel a little uncomfortable for some folks. Perfect, whole, and complete, just as I am right now. Yes. Perfect, whole, and complete, even if you're having thoughts that are just cruddy, and you think that this is the worst day ever. At your core, who you are, at all times, is the perfect expression of God. Showing up as you. Showing up as you. And God uses everything. So don't be afraid. Show up as you. All right, so with that, we're so grateful that each one of you has chosen to be here today. Thank you so much for joining us, either here in the room or online right now, or even later if you're checking in on the recording. This time is special. Right? This time is special. If I just showed up here all by myself, I'm kind of entertaining, so I could do that. But it's you, and because you decided to show up, because you put pants on, as Reverend Kamatara likes to say, or because you clicked on Facebook or YouTube to join us today, it's important and it's wonderful because of you. And we want to especially welcome those of you that are here for the very first or second time. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful that you're here. We truly are so grateful that you're here. And we trust that you are going to receive something today that touches your heart, whether it's the music or the message or the person that you're sitting next to that maybe says hello or gives you a warm smile. All right, and so we would like to bless. We like to do a blessing every week, so we ask you to rub your hands together and generate some energy right in your hands. You feel that warmth coming to the circle in between your palms, and outstretch your palms, and we're going to bless you. We see you.
We see you.
We know who you really are.
We know who you really are.
You are a unique emanation of spirit.
You are a unique emanation of spirit.
We love you.
We love you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
We thank God for you.
We thank God for you.
Welcome to Rio Grande Center for
Welcome.
Spiritual Living.
Good morning again. I'm Lisa Carrera, I'm a practitioner here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. I have a spiritual reading today that was selected out of the Science of Mind magazine. And I especially like this one. Its title is Yield Like Water. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet, for dissolving the hardened and flexible, nothing can surpass it. And that's from the Tao Te Ching. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then hold steadfastly to the thought that all of life is in a state of eternal flow. That's Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind, page 233. Water, rivers, lakes, and streams and oceans is my favorite part of Mother Nature. When I float or swim, I feel light, free, and blissful. My soul is at peace when I forget time. I witness water's incredible power in riverbank erosion, how each year the land around the river changes, often dramatically. There is undeniable power in the majestic ocean's waves, too tumbling and crashing. To be at the seashore and feel that awesome power reminds me of the power of each of us, the power of the universe and the infinity of life. In contrast to its mighty power, water is so yielding. It pours over every nook and cranny, gently yet insistently. Leaves and debris are pushed forward gracefully. Water flows on and quietly persists. Another incredible quality of water is its ability to shapeshift from liquid to ice to steam. What a gift to breathe in the salty air, feel the ocean's breeze on my face, and know that we all flow back into the universal expanse, just as rivers flow from the snowy mountains to the oceans. In my own life, I embody both strength and gentleness as much as possible. I go with the flow. And that was written by Deborah Perdue. She's a practitioner for the Centers for Spiritual Living. The affirmation with that is, like water, I am grateful to yield and be gentle in giving, while simultaneously
Okay, so maybe that's not enough. Yeah, that's not the right song.
Oh, the river knows your name, and your tears falling like the rain. No two journeys are ever quite the same. Oh, the river, she knows your name, and the river hears you cry as the lightning cracks the open sky. Like your mama sings a lullaby. Oh, river, she knows why.
practitioner. My pronouns are she and her. And Belinda told me I should get back behind the lights. Belinda on camera, who happens to be my amazing wife. Thank you, Belinda. I want to begin by saying thank you to our community of volunteers. I'm just so grateful to the folks that step in at the last minute, when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable. And I had that beautiful experience today of being surrounded, even though I was a little bit nervous about what was going to happen. It all just fell into place. And what a beautiful experience that is, and what an amazing demonstration that is of Spirit operating in my life and in our life, by all's lives by extension, because you get to enjoy this amazing service today. So thank you so much to everyone who stepped in, who stepped up, and who served. All right, so I am delighted to see so many of you here today, especially considering the title of my talk. If you saw it, if you didn't, hold on, you can't leave now. Trauma 101. Oh boy. It's really wonderful to know that we can come together, that we can gather as a loving community and explore even the most challenging of subjects. We can do that together, even if it's scary. And this month, I think we're kind of doing that all month. Come back, come back. Our theme is unstatus quo. We have a theme that we move with Centers for Spiritual Living. And so our theme this month is unstatus quo. So what's the status quo? It's the way that we always do things, the way that things are always done. And so the unstatus quo is shaking it up a little bit, making us uncomfortable. Oftentimes a lot of people are uncomfortable with change. And so we're just hold on. It's really okay. Because we all get into routines sometimes, right? And we do that here at Centers for Spiritual Living. Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living is not exempt. We have ways of doing things. I know that there is an order of service that we move in every day, every Sunday that we come together. Have I ever paid that close attention to how that happens? Nope. There's a routine, there's a rhythm, there's a process. So when I was left going, well, who's doing what? And what's the what? I didn't know. And so I was really uncomfortable because I didn't know what the status quo was. I didn't know what the right way of proceeding was. So I got a little bit nervous. That's okay. I get to get nervous. I get to be uncomfortable. But what happens is when we have a way of doing things, then that can mean that we also have things that we don't do, ways that we don't behave. And it moves from just being different sometimes to being inappropriate or taboo, right? And what we want to be able to do in these rooms, in this room in particular, is we want to be able to talk about all of our life's experiences. All of those things that impact us and that we live through. So the impact of having taboos or taboo topics is that we have isolated people and isolated experiences for whom those topics are at the forefront of their experience, right? If it's taboo to do or be certain ways, and if that is your central place in the world, in your life right now, you kind of feel like you're on the outs, you're on the edges. And so some of those taboo topics might be sex, marginalization, trauma, abuse, disabilities, ableism, addiction, shame, chronic illness, mental health, consent, racism, poverty, food insecurity, politics, for example. But we are all at impact. by one or more of these human experiences, whether it's in our own lives or in the lives of people we love, right? We know people that are having those experiences if it's not us. Or we know for ourselves the lived experience of those situations. And what we are holding strong for at Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living is that every single person has an opportunity for a grand rising. That's the theme for our year. So that every single person has the ability to thrive, to be in community and connection, to be loved, to be abundant. That's what we are holding for. That's what we are standing for. And so we have to be willing. We have to be willing to embrace the wholeness of humanity, including those things we would rather ignore and that make us uncomfortable, especially in spiritual community. Oneness equals wholeness, and therefore no topic can be taboo. And by doing this, we make space for all people. And when we make space for all people, we have a richer life. When we have diversity, we have a richer life. So, you still with me? Okay, all right. You understand the, I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. Because this is hard stuff to talk about. Hold yourself gently as we walk through this. So, today we're focusing on the taboo subject of trauma. And in New Thought, we often focus on, right, the clearing of negative thoughts. Turn your attention to the positive. We talked about it right at the beginning when I introduced what we believe, right? Change your thinking, change your life. Align your vibration, your energy, your feelings to things that are uplifting, and draw that to you more so that you can have a more expansive and joyful life. We say that, and that is true. However, it's important to remember that this is not to the exclusion of acknowledging pain and suffering. And that often gets confused in these rooms, in Centers for Spiritual Living, in New Thought. That can sometimes get confused. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of religious science, reminds us in our textbook, The Science of Mind, that we are not so cold-blooded as to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain. That is not our idea or purpose. We admit the fact. It is quite a different thing to admit that it is necessary. So the distinction is that you may be experiencing, you might have experienced trauma, you might have experienced pain and suffering in your life. You might be in the middle of that right now. I was going to use some choice words, but I thought I would say that. You might be in the middle of that right now. And we don't deny that that is your experience, but we also know that pain and suffering is not required in life. But you know what? Spirit is so good, it uses it all. It's been very active in my life to use all of the suffering and pain and the trauma that I've experienced, and I'm so grateful for that. Our work is not just about transforming our thinking. When we come together as a community, our work is also about being present to one another, right where we are. Being in beloved community with compassion and non-judgment, right in the pain and in the challenges that life is dishing up right in the moment. Beloved community and being with one another is so important. Trauma, what is trauma? What are we talking about? It is a distressing, frightening, or stressful event that can be difficult to cope with or out of one's control. It can affect someone emotionally and physically, and can have lasting adverse effects on their mental, physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. Trauma can happen at any age and can affect people long after the event has occurred. And so there is that big picture of what trauma is. And trauma is part of most people's lives. It just is. Whether it's through individual experiences like poverty or abuse, or collective experiences like natural disaster. We just lived through a global pandemic. And for many of us, that experience was traumatizing. It was so fearful. I experienced that. I didn't know what to do. I journal every single day. Every single day. I could not journal. I sat there with my journal and I could not journal. I was traumatized by the fear, by the unknown. So I want to share with you, for the sake of teaching, my experience of trauma. I have, as I've shared with you the last time that I was here, I have lived with chronic rheumatic syndrome for the past 25 years. It's called fibromyalgia. When I started to have the experience of this, I was 29 years old. I was off to have a big adventure in Seattle, Washington. I grew up in southern New Mexico, where it's so hot, like you can't get naked enough. It's just so hot. And I thought, I want something different. I want to go have an adventure. None of my family leaves New Mexico. We all stay close by. I'm going to Washington State. And I was so excited about this big adventure. And a year later, I went through the very long process of figuring out that I had this chronic disorder. At the prime of my life, my friends, 29 years old, where the world was my oyster. I was living in Seattle, Washington, where the flowers grow the color that they are at Michael's. Where it's green in the winter because the sidewalks are green, the bark on the tree is green. It is manna from heaven to be in Seattle, Washington. There is so much wealth, natural beauty, the Puget Sound, eagles flying over. I would drive to work and I would watch the bald eagles dive down, catch a fish, and fly off. On the regular. I was in the land of milk and honey. And a year in, I found out I had this disorder. And the illness at the time, when it first started, was so debilitating, I sometimes couldn't lift my head up off the pillow. I could say hello to my mother in a couple of words, and then I'd have to stop and hand the phone over to my girlfriend at the time. I was terrified. And in a world that values doing and producing and climbing the ladder, and in a city like Seattle, which is super high tech, and you're going and moving and shaking and making money, I couldn't. I was in so much pain. And I was so tired. And I was scared. And at the time, it's getting a little bit better now, but at the time, the story was that it was all in my head. That it wasn't a real thing. And people didn't believe me because sometimes I felt better. Sometimes I could think really clearly and I could speak, not like I was a drunken sailor. And my speech would get really slurred when I wasn't feeling. I could understand what people were saying to me. I was kicking butt, I was taking names. And for that period of time, I was amazing. I could embrace myself and I would say, "Oh, pumpkin, there you are." And then it would come back. And I couldn't process information. And my employees would come to talk to me and ask me questions so that I could solve their problems. And I'd have to come up with creative ways. I'm like, that's a great idea. Can you write it down? Can you send it to me in an email? I had to think about it for a little while. I was terrified that people would find out that I was sick. I have been traumatized by this illness for 25 years. Now I'm a practitioner and I'm a ministerial student. So I've been doing this work in Centers for Spiritual Living. I actually came across Centers for Spiritual Living right as I was getting sick. And it isn't until now that I have been able to begin to pray for my own healing. 25 years later. I have not been able to do that because I have felt so ashamed of the fact that I can't show up the way that the world expects me to. I've been so ashamed of that I could not even pray for myself. And because I couldn't pray for myself, I had trouble praying for other people that were having physical challenges. I did it, I worked at it, I prayed about it, I talked to God about it, but it was challenging because I couldn't accept myself. The question is, do we have the capacity in a space and in an organization where we focus so much, rightly, on transforming your thoughts, focusing on the positive, getting rid of denials, getting rid of those negative feelings so that we can draw to us the positive? In these spaces, do we have the capacity to be with people right where they are? In the midst of divorce, in the midst of physical challenge, in the midst of losing all your money, whatever it may be, do we in this room have the capacity to make space for people being in their suffering? And as with everything else that we do here, where we begin to expand our capacity to grow and to change is with ourselves. What in ourselves are we holding outside of light? What in ourselves might we say is unacceptable, is taboo for us to talk about in these rooms, in the social hall, to have a conversation in class about something that's really hard? Do we have the ability to hold people right where they are? 25 years, my friends. Would you have been able to hold me for 25 years of not being able to pray for my physical health? I'm not judging. Trust me, I am speaking and preaching to myself this morning. Our transformation is on our own timeline. It is our own process. And we come here on Sunday to learn. Yeah. We come here on Sunday to hear different ways of thinking that we might go out and practice. We take classes to learn new ideas. We sit with practitioners who pray with us, who talk to us in a session, so that we can begin to expand our idea of what's possible for ourselves. But it is in our own time. And what can happen is that every once in a while, and I am guilty of this, so I will stand up first and say I do it, get real uncomfortable with people that aren't moving on. I've heard you say that before. Yeah. But God is all there is. God's everything. God's everywhere. God's all there is. But I hear you, but what's going right in your life? Talk to me about something that's working for you. And the worst of those that I've heard about, I wasn't actually there, but someone shared a personal experience of when they shared that they had cancer, someone saying, well, what's in your consciousness? That's not what we do. That's not what we believe. That's not who we are. But how we get to the place of being more accepting, more patient, and sitting with people who might be taking longer than we think they should, is to accept those things within ourselves that we might be holding outside of the blessing of spirit, but that we might hold outside of okay, that are taboo, that are excluded. And Marcia Senator, who is the author of Elegant Choices, Healing Choices, it's an amazing book that I had, it was such a gift to read during practitioner studies. Has a really good book. She says, self-acceptance gives us the strength to get better if we are ill. Self-acceptance gives us the strength to get better if we are ill and stay well if we are fit. Self-acceptance joins us together at the very point of rupture. We begin by accepting and loving and bringing out of the shadows those parts of us that we might have held back. and we might have hidden. Embracing your own experiences with compassion can be a really powerful step to healing. And as always, whenever you do that work for yourself, you serve the whole community. Can you identify a place? I'm not asking for hands. But can you identify a place within yourself that is a trauma response? That is coming out of an experience of pain and suffering. Can you pull them out of the shadow and look at them and love them and bless them for the gift that they are to you? And when we begin to embrace those parts of ourselves, when we do that work of accepting that which has been unacceptable, now we become more wonderful. Now we become more able to sit with another exactly where they are, moving at exactly the pace that they are moving. But it's uncomfortable. And it's understandable that it's uncomfortable to sit with people that are having challenges, right? I think for some of us, we're going to be with like-minded people in community. We believe the same thing, we're not living the same thing. We listen and learn from the same philosophy, but that doesn't mean we're walking through it at the same pace, right? So when we are in that discomfort, our work is to become conscious of our response to another person and recognize that that is ours, not theirs. If I'm uncomfortable because you're saying the same thing over again, am I uncomfortable with you or am I uncomfortable with me? Am I impatient? Can I sit with you as you tell the same story over and over again because I love you? And as you talk to me, I am holding you as whole, perfect, and complete. We don't want to be unintentionally cruel. That's unintentional, right? We don't want to do that. Spirit took me on a little ride, so I'm trying to find my way back. So we want to, and I think need to be mindful of when we might be rejecting or avoiding or rushing someone for their feelings. Just become conscious, just like everything else we do and talk about here. There's a difference between commiserating and co-ruminating. Right? So commiserating is to feel or express sympathy for someone suffering or unhappiness. Right? Expressing sympathy, being with them. Co-ruminating is excessively talking with another person about the problems, including rehashing them and dwelling on the negative feelings associated with them. We're not talking about that. I know that very well from working in an office. Ooh, there was a lot of co-ruminating. Did you hear? And oh my God, I know. And every time, right? Not that, but being present with someone. That is what we want. Michael Singer, another book from Practitioner Study, what the heck? From The Untethered Soul says that when you open, you bring more energy into the system and it can heal. Energy can heal. And that's why love can heal. When we open ourselves up, when we do the work for our own trauma, for our own pain and accept it, we can open ourselves and that love, that energy, it heals all of us. It heals us. And so how beautiful to know that the work that we do on our own trauma and sharing in community and being supported and loved and held in community also serves the next group of people that are having a challenge. Isn't that beautiful? Not only do we as the people that are hurting demonstrate beautiful vulnerability when that's possible, do not be vulnerable when you're not ready. But when we can, we demonstrate that vulnerability to people. And it shows others that they can do that. And it shows others that I can be present with someone who's hurting. It's a beautiful demonstration. And that energy heals. How about if we could go to the next step and say, here's one that might make you a little uncomfortable. Suffering is perfection. transformed the way that we see suffering and actually see it as perfection. If God is unfolding in perfect order all the time, everywhere, in every moment, if God is unfolding beautifully and can use absolutely everything, every experience, every word, every pain, every sorrow, every laugh, God can use it for our greater expression and for our expansion and transformation, then suffering is perfect. Not necessary, but perfect. Science of Mind encourages us to be present, to listen deeply, and to hold space for others without judgment. And I know that we can practice compassion by acknowledging pain without trying to rehash it, fix it, or rushing people through it. Everything that is a part of your life, your trauma, your joy, your success, your overcoming, every little drop, every ounce has contributed to the brilliant human being that sits here today, that is listening to my voice online today. Every aspect of your life, even the things that you don't want to look at, have created this magnificent human being that sits before me today. My friend, she's neurodivergent, which just basically means you process information differently. I am neurodivergent too, and we've had this conversation like, what is that? How does it show up? Oh, the world says I should process information this way, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying. I can't read and process information, can't just hear speech in a certain way and process information. It's neurodivergent, but what she calls it is neurospicy. I love it. What a way to turn it around, right? Neurospicy. I process information way differently than any of you. How cool is that? Our suffering, our trauma, we need to hold each other in that, because it is that experience that is building and growing the magnificent human being that you are now and that you are growing into, that you will expand into. This is your gift. Hold each other gently. You can be excited. Sometimes I make a face when I'm in session with someone and they're talking about the pain and suffering, and I'm like, I try and hold that. Practitioners, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. It's like, I'm so excited. You're at the moment. You're at that place where you are growing. My friends, let's find connection between divinity and humanity. It's all one thing. Be kind and gentle with each other. Let's invite into this space trauma, pain, suffering. It is a gift of God if it's happening. And it is a gift to this community because you are here in all your spiciness. Let's pray. And so I know, right here, right now. I know, right here and right now, in this room, in the air, in the chairs that we're sitting in, and whatever the magic of internet is. I know that the genius, the wonder, the love of spirit is right here, present. It's in every breath that I take. It is in all the words that I say, that spirit is helping me to communicate, that the divine is flowing in the blood cells of everybody, of everybody, of everybody. And that wholeness and genius and joy and love of spirit is encapsulated into every one of those particles. It moves, it breathes, and it has its way with each and every one of us. And I know that this week we can open our hearts a little more, to welcome in, to embrace, to love those parts of us that have been harmed, that show up in maybe side ways, like addiction, like abuse, like self-harm, expression, to the experience, and to the pain that has brought this all together in this amazing combination for healing today. That healing might begin, that there might be an open heart. An open heart to speak, an open, compassionate, loving, kind heart to listen. And I know that as we move through this week, trying even just a little bit more to open our hearts, just a little bit more. Then we open our eyes to Spirit living as us. Then we recognize the divine expressing itself as us in the midst of our problem, in the midst of our trauma, in the midst of our harm. Spirit is expressing itself as we stay present to the person that is trusting us to listen. And so I know that as we move forward from this week, that there's just a little more openness. Crack. And I know that that tiny bit of openness results in a transformed world. The work we do here, even when it feels small, is about having and experiencing a transformed world. And so for this knowing, for this ability to remember the truth of who we are, to call back into the middle of myself that has never been harmed or hurt, I am so deeply grateful. For as I speak my word, I release it into the law that can only say, yes, yes, my beloved. And so, yes, we have a transformed world, and we have it now. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
That's all it is.
Thank you, practitioners. I'm not used to doing this next part, so I'm going to prepare. But there's no status quo. On status quo. We're going to move into our time of giving this morning. And your giving goes to support this beautiful community, goes to support these gatherings, the cooling, the heat, the chairs, the carpet, the lights, all the things, all the people in service. We so appreciate your contributions to this community. And as my other hat as being the vice president of the board, I want to share with you that we are doing well. Things are fantastic. What we need to see over the next 2 weeks, between now and the end of the month, is an additional $3,000. It's usually coming down to that, right? An additional $3,000. So that's beyond your regular giving. We need to see an additional $3,000 so that we can continue to do this. Because this is fun, even when it's trauma. Even when it's trauma. So I invite you, if you're online, there are ways to give online. You can go to our website, rdcsl.org. I believe that's what it is. There's text to give. I don't know if that's coming here. There's a button on the website. Lots of different ways that you could bring up an offering to the basket. So I invite you to give generously to the place that is helping you to grow. Thank you so much.
Should we do?
The affirmation.
Oh, yeah, I don't ever do it. Here we go. Thank you. All right, here's our affirmation of abundance. It felt like there was silence and it was weird. Here we go. I am abundant, and I
Give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously.
Takes a village. Thank you.
Like a flame reaching to the sky, fortress down, turning walls into pebbles on the ground, like a song that takes my tears and turns them into joy. I believe peace will find a way. I believe
Yeah, but when I turn it off,
we will
if I
find
turn this
a
off, they
way.
can't hear me.
In the power of love, peace will find a way. In the power of love.
Other things. First of all, I want to give thanks to the people online. Ooh, this is my wife's handwriting. Here we go. Carol Helms, thanks so much for being with us. Marilyn and Lou, Mark, Kamatara, the other Marilyn O'Leary. I don't know who that is. Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. And Alicia Hanlon, thank you so much for joining us online. We're so grateful that you're here. It's been such a joy to be able to celebrate together today. Please don't forget to take advantage of our prayer garden. Our practitioners will be offering prayer over here in the prayer garden. And join us after we close up today for fellowship beyond that door. We'll share some snacks. We'll talk to each other maybe a little more openly. Yeah, that would be awesome. So we're going to have a closing song with our beautiful Susan Clark, and then I'll be up here with an affirmation for you.
Would you please stand? We're going to shorten this up just a little bit.
Joy fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. Peace fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell of my Spirit to do what it does.
Beautiful, thank you.
That's it for me. Happy Sunday.
Beautiful. So our affirmation for the week is every little bit of my life. Every little bit of my life is a blessing.
Is a blessing.
Wonderful. It's good to see you.
Are you guys doing that every time to use the names of people online? Because I think it's a great idea.